thinking that I won't react. You whispering my name, thinking I won't be the same. Turn fiction into fact. See what you didn't know, bruises that I'll never show, slipping on your every jab. So tighten up your fist, step into the ring with this. I hope your mama's got your back. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, holding the sound of my name in the crowd. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. Just 'cause I took a break, you're making a huge mistake, thinking you can take the throne. Look at you trembling, step into the lion's den. Bet you wish you stayed at home. Begging for mercy underneath your breath when I ain't even sweating yet. My legend's written in the stone, yeah. You're crying age in defeat is now your only friend. Even your mama's gotta know. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, holding the sound of my name in the crowd. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 First round, fifth round, final round. Oh, 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 yeah. First round, fifth round, final round. No, 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 no. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, holding the sound of my name in the crowd. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. You didn't bust. Oh, oh,
Hey, Nick, Sean Spicer. I understand there's some controversy brewing about how many subscribers you have on YouTube. You have more subscribers than anybody. It's probably the biggest, largest YouTube subscription that anybody's had. But also, it's not numbers that matter, Nick. And I know everyone's going to quibble over this, but it's content. It's quality. And your subscribers are amazing. They're great. They're high quality subscribers, and that's really what you have to look at. Don't just focus on the numbers. I mean, if people are spewing a bunch of fake news, just don't get in the mud. They're amazing folks. Their engagement, the way that they like the videos. Anyway, I hope this puts this to the end. I hope that this controversy is over, and we know who the real YouTube subscriber champ is, and it's you, Nick.
welcome to In Time. My name is Nicholas Lamar Suter. I don't know. It seems to me too much to hope to have Spicy back. I guess I kind of miss him. Welcome to In Time. Thank you all for joining us. And with me today is 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴. 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, cutting in and out, having fun with service to our lovely Chinese overlords that are listening in right now. Just a pro tip, you don't need to waste the space on recording us. This program is available for free to the public on YouTube.
Until Google is broken up. There's a lot going on. Oh dear. Okay, so we're all being monitored by the Chinese, and including ostensibly this program, and but that's okay because the Chinese can just buy YouTube in April of next year. So yeah. Oh dear. All right, where to begin? Let's start with what is happening right now. Now, we were waiting for Biden to speak, but it looks like his producer is probably the same as ours. At any rate, he was supposed to start half an hour ago, and to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't started speaking yet. So he was going to speak on a U.S.-brokered deal between Iran... Sorry, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Between Israel and Lebanon. Pro tip, do not confuse Israel and Iran with Israelis and or Iranians present. It's just a bad idea. At any rate, so the deal, we don't know a whole heck of a lot about the deal. What we do know is that the the Israeli cabinet has approved it with Netanyahu's support. We also know that the far-right national security minister, who is reasonably new, replacing the more moderate one, has called the deal, quote, a historic mistake, which has failed to achieve the war's main goal of returning displaced Israelis to their homes in the north. He is calling this a, quote, surrender agreement and a disgrace on a historic scale. The reason this is important is because he is a member of the far-right coalition which is keeping Netanyahu in power. It remains to be seen. This would appear to be a bit of a betrayal of what the far-right had been hoping for. If the far-right breaks with the coalition, Netanyahu could be out of power, and if that happens, he will almost certainly be indicted. So I'm a little surprised, but grateful that a deal appears to be in place. The deal looks like it's going to be for 60 days. It is a ceasefire, enough time for both sides to have people return home, at least temporarily. Netanyahu is saying that this deal has a number of pros, including the ability for Israel now to focus on Gaza and to replenish its military supplies, a number of which he said have been, quote, delayed, ostensibly referring to the sanctions by the U.S. and other countries against Israel. So we'll see. I don't know. Any thoughts on that, 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻?
Yeah, it's a little surprising. I kind of wonder what backroom deals were going on with that, but I guess we'll find out. Maybe it's just for Christmas. It seems low probability that it's for that, but maybe.
You do realize they're not Christian.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it seems low probability, but I mean, that's the only thing really going on.
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving. They're not. I don't think it's a Thanksgiving thing either.
But that's a uniquely American thing, though.
Oh, yes, Don Starlet, that's the other thing is, to the best of my knowledge and understanding of it so far, it does not get the hostages back. So it's just a ceasefire, which is another reason why the far right was suggesting.
Well, this is with Lebanon, correct?
Lebanon
and Hezbollah, not in Gaza, and they're the ones that have the. Yeah, that's where the hostages are. So
this is the principal reason for this war breaking out was because Israel was concerned about its settlements in the north that were within striking range of Hezbollah out of Lebanon. This would not ostensibly fix that problem. The only way to, quote, fix that problem would be to usurp land in southern Lebanon, which kind of looks like what they're trying to do and has been historically what Israel does. As of this moment, it looks like they're not going to try to attempt it. It's a 60-day ceasefire. We'll see. Like I said, I was hoping to learn more from Biden, who was supposed to be speaking on the matter at 2:30, but as of when we started airing, he hadn't spoken yet, so we just don't know. All we know is Netanyahu is praising this, which, again, shocked me, but the far-right cabinet defense minister, which he installed himself, is calling this a surrender. So we'll see what happens to his coalition that's keeping him in place. It's the first time I've seen him do something decent in a while. So I don't know, unless you have anything else to add to that. God, so much to talk to. Let's jump to China.
Oh, China, how we love thee.
Yes. We love China. Thank you guys so much. So China, the U.S. intelligence agencies are still trying to figure out how big a hack this is. But what we know so far is that it was detected by Microsoft. Microsoft noticed that a lot of IP addresses that were supposed to be going to AT&T, various other telecoms, were actually being routed to China. And they followed up on this, and it turned out that it wasn't supposed to be happening. Now, what was it that you were saying, as Andrew, on the that China was doing that made this hack so unusual?
Well, the sheer scope of it and size of it, the fact that it's still ongoing, and the fact that they got into the wiretap portion programming. So where law enforcement sends in wiretap requests for certain phone numbers, they got into that, and so they started putting in requests for wiretaps. And the Verizon and AT&T and stuff, they all
cooperated.
Law enforcement, yeah, they're like, well, we need to give these wiretaps out, because they assumed that there was a warrant behind all of these things, and so they issued the wiretaps. And turns out nobody actually officially requested any wiretaps. There were no warrants for wiretaps, and they were also going to China. So they admitted that it was affecting both Trump and Kamala, their campaigns, several other high-level officials. The government issued a warning saying, hey, if you need to speak about anything sensitive or classified, don't do it over the phone or via text. So I think that's probably good to the general public as well. If anybody's out there and they need to talk about sensitive things and they don't want China to know about, then you should probably not talk about it on the phone or text.
So this,
unless you have Pure Talk. Pure Talk claims that they are protected by God and that they are unaffected by China.
Good to know. All right. So apparently every major U.S. telecom provider has been breached. One of the biggies that they were doing,
except Pure Talk, they're protected by God.
Except those that are protected by the Almighty Himself. I haven't seen the signature. I don't know what God's signature looks like, so I probably couldn't verify it anyway. But what I do know is that according to U.S. intelligence, it's, quote, no different than if we used Huawei ourselves. Huawei is the Chinese telecom giant. They say that every major U.S. telecom provider has been breached. And let's see.
And don't forget, this is ongoing. It was described as the greatest, the largest cyber hack in history anywhere ever.
Yes, and the other part, as Andrew mentioned, and this is what makes it absolutely incredible, they were able to get fake authorizations not only from regular courts but from the FISA court. So this is the top secret government court that has NSA clearance for getting warrants from the NSA to tap Americans in cases of spying, so on and so forth. The FISA court apparently issued warrants for Trump, Vance, and possibly Kamala Harris several months ago, and these warrants were honored by their providers. So, for all we know, and we as of yet don't know how much information was compromised, but we do know that there were fake FISA warrants issued and acted upon by telecom providers for both the candidates for president in the most recent election and major staff members, and that China has been on the other side of those warrants. So, again, China, we would never.
We applaud
Yes.
your ingenuity. We applaud your ingenuity and your technical savvy. That was brilliant. Bravo.
Yes.
Golf clap.
And please don't hurt us. There's going to be a meeting for the entire U.S. Senate on December 4th to cover what they know about the breach. However, it is still ongoing. They do not know how big it is. It is obviously already, what we do know is by far the largest in size and scope hack in history. It's been going on for at least a year, and we expect to know more reasonably soon, hopefully after the briefing for the U.S. Senate on December 4th.
You know, I think in light of this, in light of this revelation of their technical ingenuity and brilliance, I think that it's such a wise idea that we continue to purchase all of our critical infrastructure components directly from China.
I'm sorry, what was that? Sorry, I didn't mean that as a joke. I legit, for a second, I caught something in the live chat.
I said, I think in light of this new revelation of China's ingenuity and technical brilliance, that we should go ahead and continue purchasing all of our critical infrastructural control systems, such as transformers, SCADA systems, etc. We should go ahead and continue purchasing those from China. I mean, there's no way they would have done something like put a backdoor into our electrical transformers, even though when they were inspected, they found just such back doors and suspended sales for, I think, 6 months, and then went, it's not an issue, and started ordering them again without any evidence that was remediated.
Yeah.
Now that can't be a problem.
The problems that I think we're going to have with China, between them stealing intellectual property, and not just intellectual property, but, intellectual property. Normally when we talk about stealing IP, we think of them stealing movies and stuff like that, which actually is our number 2 export, so it's kind of important. But that notwithstanding, it's when they do things like the Sony hack and steal, again, movies, but also steal the technical specifications for, the headsets and small consumer electronics, which they then remanufacture themselves and rip off at this huge price, but then they don't have to invest anything in R&D. They're investing essentially in spying and stealing everything from other countries. It's a terrible problem, and something that the Trans-Pacific Partnership was actually designed to stop, and probably would have worked if Trump hadn't have just decided, let's veto this because I don't know the difference between a trade deal and an act of war. I'm still bitter. $5 from Papa Dutch. Considering how fast Huawei phone became useless, I figure they would try to do the same to others. It figures they would try to do the same to others. Yeah. It's really mind-boggling that they could also just breach. They could go from the electronic world to actually getting fake warrants issued and getting AT&T and others to actually voluntarily tap certain phones on behalf of China, thinking that they were following the legal order. That's mind-boggling. And begs the question, what other... I mean, if they can fake those legal orders, from the FISA court, no less, if they can fake a warrant from the FISA court, it seems to me that they can fake authorization for just about anything. Oh, it's okay to leave those nuclear fuel rods right there. Don't worry about it. I mean, I have no idea where to go with this. It's we're gonna find out more hopefully soon. Join us on the Discord. We've been kind of following it, but the problem is information on this has been murky at best, and my assumption is that the U.S. government doesn't want to reveal a whole heck of a lot. A, because they don't want to reveal how much they know. They can spread disinformation until they reveal how much they know. And B, they're a little embarrassed by how successful this has been, and they don't want to release that either. So it's... I think it's going to be hard to suss out just how bad this is. We've talked a lot about the Pegasus program, which is the Israeli-run program that allows you to hack any phone, except American phones, purportedly, which is probably just a load of crock. At any rate, the Pegasus is bad enough, and the fact is that the U.S. does have a license for Pegasus. I'm very concerned about the fact that we are about to have President Donald J. Trump, who has said he's going to go after his enemies, and he's got a license for Pegasus. He can hack any phone in the country. The license presumably goes to the executive branch. That's the law enforcement branch. So I'm assuming he can do whatever he wants with it. That was bad enough. Now we've got China. So join us on the Discord. I think In Time is going to be following this one very much the same way we followed Pegasus. I think it's a big...
we're definitely going to try. Yeah, we're going to try and follow it. It is a big deal. And I'm hoping maybe this will get a lot more coverage than all of the more minor stories of finding lots of Chinese worms and malicious programs and malware in different... infrastructure control systems that they've been doing for the last over a decade. We've been finding those left and right all over the place, and yet we only ever see occasional small stories from local news networks that even mention this stuff. I mean, this has been an ongoing problem with China getting into our control systems for quite some time. It doesn't surprise me that they've moved up to an entire communications network. And I also think that we're probably going to have a really hard time sussing out anything of use beyond what we already know, because I really don't think the government's going to release that information.
It's going to be hard. I think we're going to end up relying a lot on investigative journalism, which hopefully isn't dead. It's been napping for a little while, but my hope is that's. We'll be able to suss something out. My camera's out. Hopefully it'll be back in a second, or not, depending on.
I'm a little concerned about that because I think investigative journalism has kind of taken a bit of a hiatus, and that's really sad. But on the other hand, I've grown incredibly suspect of unnamed sources with knowledge of the situation. Oh, so you made it up, and you just need to be able to justify making a news story about it, because that has happened so often, where unnamed sources say turns out it's completely false, and I don't know how to feel about that anymore. So
that hasn't happened.
They should never have gone away.
Are there recent examples of that with like the Times or Washington Post or anything like that? Because I think they're usually pretty reliable.
Yeah, they usually are. But I have just grown completely suspect of any news story that cites, I just forgot the term for somebody who you don't want them to know.
Unnamed source?
Unnamed. I keep trying to say unanimous.
Unnamed source or I don't know. I'm sure somebody will drop it in the live chat. But I get what you're saying. That was a criticism, though, of a lot of people thought that Woodward and Bernstein weren't able to find a second source, and so Deep Throat wasn't an actual source. It was made up. It wasn't until he allowed for them to publish his name that they found out who Deep Throat was, but it turns out they really did have a second source. So I'm less weary about it.
Don't get me wrong. I do believe that there has been, there have absolutely been in the past, unnamed sources, confidential sources.
Oh, there you
go. That have given us really good information to break open stories. But in recent years, I have just grown very suspect of unnamed sources with knowledge of the situation tell us. I'm like, okay, so really you're just making the immediate response to that is, okay, so you're just making this story up because you want it to be true or you think that it's true and you want to sound credible. Does that happen most of the time? I don't know, maybe not, but the fact that it's cast that much of a doubt over, do you have an actual real reliable source that's reporting this, or is this what you think's going on and you want to be able to do a story on it? So I'm just skeptical of unnamed sources now.
Yeah, I think it's all news seems to have that's one reason we do the show is to be skeptical of mainstream media. I think all news has been wanting recently, so my hope is they'll catch up. We'll see. It's not going to have much of an option. It's that or cede all the territory to Donald J. Trump, which I really hope we don't do. Speaking of, Donald J. Trump has truthed. When doesn't he do this? I really hate just using that. I mean, I'm just going to say Pravda. So he put out on Pravda today, on Pravda. As everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada. Really? I had some idea of, I wasn't aware of the Canadian problem, but okay. Bringing crime and drugs at levels never seen before. Right now, a caravan is coming from Mexico, composed of thousands of people, seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through I think this was a movie. I think he was watching a movie is what I think this is. At any rate, come through our currently open border. On January 20th, as one of my first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, he's absolutely just going all in with tariffs. I mean, he's now also stating that he's going to impose an additional, on top of everything else, 10% tariff on China because they're not imposing the death penalty on their drug traffickers, and fentanyl is still making it in, or the ingredients for fentanyl are still being shipped over here. And he's just, I guess that's now going to be the standard response to any problem. Tariff.
So he is.
Nick, I hear you have a problem with your refrigerator. Tariff.
Well, and I'm curious how this is going to play into it because yes, he's added now China. His primary concern, he says, is fentanyl. And I'm not sure if it's either the ingredients for it, is fentanyl itself coming in from China, and they're not doing enough to stop it. So our drug problem means he's going to hit them with tariffs, which would be illogical enough, except he's actually hitting us because the tariffs affect us. We're the ones who pay the tariffs, so he is penalizing us for our drug problem, which China won't solve. Go figure that Gordian knot out. The tariffs, I appreciate media is now starting to just call a tax. A tariff is a kind of tax, and it's a tax on us, not on these countries. And it's been reported that it's been explained to him repeatedly how this works, and he has figured out that his base doesn't understand the difference and doesn't seem to care. The last estimate before the tariff on China was calculated was that this would raise the cost of consumer goods an average of $2,600 per year per person in a household, which is a pretty significant increase. The tariffs on incoming from Mexico would affect primarily cars, computers, electronic components, and we don't use much of either of those in the U.S. And from Canada would be aluminum, and which we don't use that much aluminum, and oil products. So all of that would receive a 25%, just right on the top, tariff. And then China. What do we normally import from China? Textiles, soybeans, stuff like that. Now, last time he lost his war with China, his trade war with China, and Mexico has said that if he does implement a tariff, Mexico will implement similar tariffs for our products going in. Mexico is our number one trade partner. Our number two trade partner is Canada. So Trump is ostensibly starting a trade war with both of them. Canada has not yet answered what they will do, but let's see, it was the trade minister for Mexico. I want to see if I can find the exact quote. I had that. No. Let's see, the U.S. imports 400 billions, almost 500 billion, so that's almost $500 billion worth of goods from Canada, and then Mexico. I think I lost that quote. Mexico is threatening to now you see it. Now I just want to find it just because I'm mad that I lost it.
Yes, I can see all this going swimmingly.
Yeah.
There could be no unintended consequences, and I think he's trying to cling on to a technicality, which is a distinction without a difference. Going, no, wait, tariffs are imposed upon the Chinese and the Mexican importers. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess technically that's correct, except that it's still the American people that bear the cost of a tariff. It's like, it's a distinction without a difference. You're still raising the cost of people's stuff, and he's just clinging so hard to but I'm technically right. They pay it. It's like, yeah, they pay it and then raise the price that exact amount so that we have to pay that price in order to pay the tariff to have it in our country. How is this any different than just raising our taxes? I mean, now, if they were going to get rid of income taxes entirely and go to a straight tariff system, I might be willing to actually support that. Maybe. I would want to see the actual proposal, but to just say, oh yeah, we're just going to keep imposing these taxes or these tariffs, and it'll be all right, it'll be fine. I'm skeptical. I'm saying that a lot now. I'm just, there's so many things I'm skeptical of.
Let's see. The only thing I can find, so Mexico has said that they will match any tariffs that we impose on them. They will match going the other way. Trump says, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada 25% tariff on all products coming into the U.S. and its ridiculous open borders. The tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens, capitalized, just the aliens, not the illegal. So, capitalized alien, stop this invasion. Stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time that they do, it is time for them to pay a very big price. Yeah, they're not the ones who are going to pay the price. Thank you, 𝐻𝐸𝐴𝐶𝐸. I think 𝐻𝐸𝐴𝐶𝐸, Mexican president warns Trump's tariff will kills jobs, hints at retaliation. One tariff will follow another in response, and so on until we put our common businesses at risk, said 𝐒𝐚𝐬 in a letter to Trump. I think it was the head of their or something like that, who's specifically promised, but it looks like the president here is yeah. either way, Mexico at a minimum is saying that they're going to retaliate on any tariffs, and I would imagine.
Well, and I don't even think it's fair to say that they're going to retaliate. They're going to reciprocate.
That's a really good point. That's an important distinction. Yep. It'll be, and what they'll do is dollar for dollar, which is essentially what China did, and we got hosed on that. And the reason we got hosed when China did it is because China is a dictatorship, and one advantage to a dictatorship is that you have one person who can direct the economy. So Ping can just say, okay, we're going to just start all producing soybeans, and everyone starts producing soybeans, and if you're trying to outproduce them in soybeans, you're going to lose. So where does all this tariff money get utilized? The money goes to the government because it's a tax. They can do whatever they want with it. I have no idea what the government's going to do with it. Probably, let's see, we do know that Texas is the first state now to offer land. I believe they offered 1,400 acres to the federal government for use specifically in holding for detention centers, for holding illegals. You can see that in our Discord, that they are the first state to do so. Maybe it'll go to that. It wouldn't surprise me. So, moving on.
Although in the little bad thing, good thing section, Texas also seems to be willing to grant some land to some of these data centers, the AI data centers, to build those centers' own power production. Natural gas power plants right on them to provide power, because apparently just making a simple image, like saying, I want an image of a rhinoceros in a leather jacket riding a Harley down the road. Apparently it takes about as much electrical energy as it does to charge your phone to generate that one image.
Wow.
And there's, how many of those are being done? So yeah, one of the big problems that's coming up is electrical shortages due to AI computing centers and data storage centers. So they're floating an idea of building them their own power generation plants right on the same property as these, data centers. And Texas is actually looking like they're going to approve that probably first. So a little bit of offsetting. I don't know whether it really offsets or not, but a little good to go with the bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ability to draw a SEAL Team 6 Panda armed to the hilt is totally worth deporting 1.4 million people. Yeah, I've done the math on that. It looks like it's worth it. I had to bust your balls because it's not your fault. It's absolutely not your fault.
I just said I said a little good to go with the bad.
Yes, you did. To be fair, you were.
I'm trying to put positive spins on things here, you kill buzz. Normally, I'm the one that's all doom and gloom and going, man, I really hope you have your bug out bags packed and you've got a year's worth of long-term freeze-dried food, survival food, because, shit's getting real here pretty quick. No, I'm being the happy one. Hey, well, at least we're addressing a problem that could threaten our power grid, like the problems New York is going through right now with expected blackouts by next year because there's not enough power generation. At least I'm like, hey, we got a little something here.
And I just, yes, okay, I was
just
mean.
Totally squashed me.
Yeah, yeah, but it's
especially
not like
when
I'm
I
wrong.
already, no, you're not wrong, unfortunately. It's like, and I've already said. It's like, hey, I'm all for securing the border. Stop anybody else from coming across. Put the entire damn military across there, if you have to stop it. But when it comes to the people who are already here, it's like, I don't see how you do that. How are you going to? Oh my God, no. It's like you have not thought this through, and just how bad that's going to get if you really believe that we can, deport millions of people just like that. No, that's not a thing that's going to happen. I don't even think it can happen.
It's a
and
thing
if they
you
try,
not even try. Yeah, don't even try it.
Yeah, if they try, they're going to, that bad things happen.
Yep. So
okay, so now that you've stomped all over my small ray of sunshine for people.
the audience. I think the audience kind of expects that. I mean, you're the kind of the whipping boy for the show, I guess. It's so. Anyways, so we've got now, I guess. Let's see, is it 2 or 1 left here? So, Trump's tariffs.
Well, in the prepper world, Truce. 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Oh, so show's over. Thanks, everybody. Show's done. We've covered everything. From
a prepper viewpoint, we're done. We ran out.
This actually all ties into one other really interesting thing, which is, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Google was found. Sorry, the case was what was it? The case against Google for being a monopoly was concluded, and then I think it was the final arguments were concluded yesterday. This case is going to be interesting because nobody knows exactly what the judge is going to do. But in this case, the claim is that Google, big shock, monopolizes the search industry, and that their algorithm unfairly gives them an advantage over absolutely everyone else in their sales, yada, yada, yada. One of the recommended actions is that Chrome be sold off to any company that wants to buy it. I'm not sure what selling Chrome off is going to do. Another possibility is that the Android operating system be sold off, or that Google itself be broken up like Ma Bell into smaller companies. The decision is expected in April. What makes that very interesting is April is after January 20th, meaning Trump does have the ability to step in and override this if he chooses. So we're going to see whether or not he's going to take any interest in the Google case. If Google does own YouTube, YouTube may have to be sold as well. Who knows? To any future buyer, whatever your product is, we are delighted by it here at In Time. We love insert product here and all of your insert business endeavors here that you do on a daily basis. Thank you, whoever you are, for what you've done and for helping this channel, which we hope/expect you will do. Anything to add, Xandri? Speaking
we
of,
fully support your mission statement, future YouTube owners. We are here to help you make your business succeed.
We want to bet it's China. Well, that's what. So this is what makes this interesting is this. So this gets back into the Chinese hacks because, well, actually, let me get into that in a second. So. Dunk on you 20, Dunk on you. You've been very supportive. We continue to appreciate your support very much. And we know that our Chinese overlords or whoever is overlording us at any given future also appreciates the 20. Thank you very much for that super chat. Working but listening. Well, delighted that you have us on while you're listening. And Dunk on you also gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for those 5. We really appreciate it. So
it's going to be TikTok. You know that, right? TikTok's going to buy YouTube.
That's what I was. That's what I was thinking. So it's going to be interesting because if they don't say that only an American company can buy it, you're going to get some kind of shell company from China buying whatever you spin off or break up from Google. So I don't know. This is the technology is growing at such a rate that right now it looks like there's the question of, can our senators and congressmen legislate and keep up with it? And the answer to that seems to be a resounding no. But it seems like our own intelligence services can't keep up with it because the largest single hack in the history of hacking has been discovered accidentally by Microsoft. who was, much to my shock, actually being diligent on something. It's very hard now to give the U.S. intelligence agencies a bit of a break here. Again, China is a dictatorship, so Ping can direct all of their resources however he wants to. The U.S. does not have that luxury. So it's a bit like, I want to say Jesse James, the famous bank robber who said that the reason he could rob so many banks was because the government had to protect every single bank, whereas he could choose which bank he wanted to hit and when he wanted to hit them. You know, if China spends a huge amount of money and is willing to put resources into coming after, making these kinds of hacks, they can fail a dozen times. It only takes succeeding once, and it looks like, again, we'll find out about this. I think the biggest thing right now is this hack story. But I think if Google is broken up, what happens to that IP is going to be extraordinarily important. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do. It's been a while since we've had an antitrust of this size, so it is a bit up into the air as to what's going to happen to it.
What are your thoughts on the antitrust element of it? Since you're definitely more on the conservative side.
Thoughts on the what?
Antitrust element of it.
We actually have antitrust laws, and we have them for a reason. So it's like if somebody is actually getting, I mean, there's the argument, and I'm not sure that I buy into this argument, that monopolies aren't actually a problem. And it's a whole very kind of libertarian argument about monopolies. It's like if somebody's able to actually get a monopoly, then they're clearly benefiting, at least if you have an open free market. But I don't think I agree with that, because I've seen some manipulations that monopolies can do to just drive out other competition that's not fair, and they can get a big stranglehold on things. So I actually kind of like that we have antitrust laws. And if something is shown to be that powerful that the only option you have to stop that or to check that power, because the founders believed in checking power, then we should apply that.
This is a weird day. So we've got a brokered truce. We've got this largest hack in history, and you and I agree. But
that's it. Get your bug out bags, because the end of
get your bug out. I think that's three of the 7 seals have just been opened. All right. Well, I think that just about covers it. We will be following all of this on our Discord. We will go live if we learn anything huge about the hacks. I think the biggest is that Vance, Trump, and they were hacked. Apparently, it was for them. What my understanding is for Trump and Vance, it wasn't a hack; it was an actual warrant. So a fake warrant was issued to tap Trump's and Vance's phone, and all that data was sent directly to the Chinese, because that's not a national security issue. And same thing with Kamala Harris. So it's just absolutely insane. Anything else big comes up, we'll obviously go live with it. But I think what's going to happen is it's going to be drips and drabs as we find out more and more about how this was done. So the attempted breakup of Google is short-sighted. This is the Sinister Porpoise for $10. Sinister Porpoise, thank you so much for your super chat. You've been a long-time subscriber and supporter, and we really appreciate that. The attempt to break up Google is short-sighted, stupid, and shows no understanding of technology or why Google is the dominant search engine. It's technological incompetence using outdated remedies. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I think what's going to happen is I don't know. Trump is hard to predict. Trump can block it. Short of the breakup, I think they'll probably find some other smaller solution, like selling off Chrome. I like Chrome. I use Chrome. I don't think Chrome needs to be sold off. And or then the Android OS, they may end up losing that. But I don't know that anyone would actually break up Google itself. It's on the table, but I have a hard time believing. Sister Porpoise followed that up. I'm not saying Google doesn't need to be reined in. Yeah, and I'm wondering if there's a way to do that without breaking Google up. My hope is that they don't break it up. I don't imagine they will, but we'll find out in April. All right, thank you all very much for joining us. We will have downtime with Commander Lance McMillan. We may not have it Thursday, because Thursday is Thanksgiving. So, and I got a message from Commander, and he may not be available. I may not be available. So we'll see what we do for Thursday. If we don't, we'll see you a week from today for In Time, and then the Thursday after that for Downtime. Thank you all very much. 𝐒𝐮𝐬, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great evening.